do a lot of work with coaching staff in
Well,
that area.
Again, I think I'm just alerting the committee to this, and we actually forget who the legislative liaison is here.
I think it's Jerry.
But
I think it's Mr.
Jerry,
Venezia.
I have, yeah.
you
I've
might
been
want to
work
do
on
some,
that.
I don't know whether at some point before it's passed, that you probably deserve some level of input from school committees. It most likely will be on the agenda at the upcoming MASC meeting, because it's moving through.
I've been following that, and I'm very concerned if it gets passed in its current phase, because the way some people would interpret the way coaches talk to kids. I certainly don't think some of the instances of bullying, but according to this piece of legislation as it's written, it would be.
Again, I don't want anyone to feel that as a school district or as individual schools, we have left this topic alone. This has been an important part of the work in schools. We've taken a very deliberate process here with our elementary schools, teachers being trained in the open circle. We're looking at different programs at our high school and middle schools. And so I think we have that on the one hand. And I think we take a very positive and proactive approach. On the other hand, there are some pieces from a legal standpoint that I would have some concerns with from a policy standpoint of how that would be implemented. So we should take a look at it, and you're certainly open to make any comments at this point to your representative before it comes under vote.
I think in our district, we do a very good job of monitoring, listening, and directing kids, and making sure that all kids feel safe and comfortable in their schools. But if there are kids that don't, certainly their parents or the kids should be in touch with the principals, who I know are receptive to every kid and parent in resolving those kind of issues. It's unfortunate they have to make a law around it, but there are some places where kids just like to pick on kids that they think are less significant.
Thanks, David. The specific goal under our policy section is to review the current research on impact of later school start times on the learning needs of adolescents. We've had a preliminary report developed. Our goal this year is to present options of school times at least 2, if not more, public input sessions, and then to put this issue to bed this school year in terms of whether we can change our start times or whether we're going to keep the start times as is. Just focused on the budget, develop a comprehensive fiscal year 10 budget that will move the district forward, activities to pursue all revenue sources to fund the fiscal year 10 budget, review budget priorities including building a multi-year budget, continued implementation of the strategic plan, provide necessary services and materials to students, maintain commitment to school building needs, update the 3-year budget plan, and continue communication with Board of Selectmen, FinCom, and Finance Planning Team. Also on the budget is the capital budget plan to continue and implement that. Review and update the capital budget plan. Major areas to be addressed include technology, buildings and grounds maintenance, repair, security, and athletic fields. Also under budget is to further explore all opportunities to cooperate with town departments and other school districts on finances and revenue sources. Activities continue to work with town hall staff to implement new integrated accounting system. I know our business manager, Mr. Nelson, has spent many an hour over at town hall working on that with town finance director Joe Tassoni and his staff. Research financial strategies used in other school districts and communities. I know the superintendent and Mr. Nelson are always in contact with other districts and communities, but I think it's important that we reach out, if possible, even more to find out what other towns are doing. Finally, maintain ongoing communication with other town departments. Also under budget, develop and implement management and maintenance plan for school facilities, playing fields and grounds. Again, this is something that Wayne Hardiker has been doing, working closely with the town. I think Marty Tilton is now who Wayne is working with over there on the town side, and there's been great cooperation in that area. Activities, work with Parks and Rec to coordinate and schedule use of school facilities and fields. Implement plan to improve lighting and security at all schools. Work with the Parks and Rec department to develop a plan for the renovation of athletic fields, and seek coalition funding for high school turf field and renovation of middle school fields. I know that there's been some movement in that turf field area in terms of working with other community groups or other groups within the community. I know our goal from the athletic subcommittee's point of view has been to try to get that turf field done without having the town having to raise money to do that. So that's what we're working toward. There's nothing on the horizon, but there is some work going on there. And finally, develop schedule for capital improvement plans for the secondary schools, including replacement of the septic systems at the middle and high schools, windows at the middle school, roof repairs, and many other repairs that we've put off over a long period of time. And I raised that earlier when I talked about large capital expenses. Depending on what happens in terms of us trying to either build a new high school, middle school, or renovate, we are going to have to, I think, address some of these issues in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And so we need to keep looking at that, keep that under our budget goals. And then to fund the secondary school building needs plan, activities, work with MSBA on new regulations for school construction relative to the facility needs of middle and high schools, seek MSBA approval for secondary school projects, complete financial audit to secure maximum reimbursement for the Bachelor of the School project. This is something that the town finance director, Mr. Tassoni, is working on right now. As you all know, we received $5 million reimbursement already, and this is for the final phase of that reimbursement that we hope to get. And I know there's a lot of paperwork involved, and there's training and learning a new software program and things like that. Finally, on the budget again, to enhance funding for schools, new corporate sponsorship and partnerships. The activity here is to establish an educational foundation. We really need people to come forward who have an interest in working with us in establishing an educational foundation. Essentially what this is, it's a group that is separate from the school committee and the administration that raises funds and then decides how those funds are going to be used. Many area towns have these. I know Boxford does, has a very active one on the Mass Associated School Committee email listserv. There's been numerous times where topics have come around as to how many towns or districts are doing this, and this is something we really need to step up to the plate on and help us raise funds for the schools. The last one on the budget is to complete contract negotiations with the NREA. The teachers are going to last year of the contract, and to establish a negotiation subcommittee and initiate negotiations. I think we're going to talk later about, I think that's on the agenda to maybe appoint the negotiation subcommittee tonight or to talk about that under subcommittees, so we should talk about that later. Any questions, comments on our budget goals? Next is communication, to expand community outreach. These two activities are both continuations. We now have a pretty active communications plan that includes forums. Our website has much more material on it now than it had the past year. As you can see the budget there, the schools are more active with the website. Newsletters from the superintendent and from the principals, staff, and these are all things that have been going on, and we need to continue doing that to communicate with the community. The second thing is to hold one school committee meeting in each school. We did that last year, and we'll do that again this year, I believe starting in October, David, or November? October. Strategic planning objective, to prepare for a new strategic plan. I know, David, your goal is to get a committee together to organize a strategic planning committee this year and to get to work on a new strategic plan. We want to identify examples of model strategic plans, gather input about expectations for our schools from multiple sources in the community, and as I said, develop a new strategic plan. Also on strategic planning is to review the student health needs for the district. These are all activities that we have in place right now. Identify programs designed to address student health needs. Mrs. Baca has been very active with the Health and Wellness Subcommittee. Continue with youth at risk and health advisory committees, and review programs that support tolerance, understanding, and diversity. And this is another area where we have great cooperation from the town and working with the police department and other members of the town.
Instrumental.
Government. And then, what's this one? Finally, under strategic planning, we have to review the curriculum program needs, develop plans to implement standards-based instruction and assessment at the secondary level, expand curriculum offerings in world languages, health, and high school electives. This year, we were able to bring health into our middle school. It's our goal to bring that down to the elementary levels. And also, the world languages, we currently offer only Spanish and French. At some point, we'd love to offer other languages. And then the high school electives, we added a couple this year. We added a statistics course, I believe, and also a novel writing course. And last year, we added 2 SAT prep courses for juniors, and I think we've gotten good participation in those courses. So as long as we have the funds, we're going to continue to look at adding new electives and other core courses. Continue to evaluate the math curriculum. Again, research 21st century learning skills. Develop guidelines for homework. Continue to promote self-supporting continuing education programs after school and summers for students. We have active programs, I believe, at all of our elementary schools, David, at this point.
That's correct.
And I know last year we tried to put a summer program together, but I think it came together a little too late to get enough children to sign up, and we're hoping to do that again this year and get a program out there earlier this year. And finally, continue to expand extracurricular and athletic program offerings. If we do that, it's probably going to mean more fees somewhere along the line, because there's not much room in the budget to expand those athletic programs especially. We have added, though, a couple of clubs this year at the high school as pilots.
And
Ultimate Frisbee. And this year we've had 2 new ones. I think people have come in. We have the photography club this year, the Eco Club, World Affairs. So we've added a number of activities at the high school. So those are our goals for the year. Do we need to vote on these, David, or any comments on our goals? Have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Comments? Cliff? Oh, okay. I'm going to give the second to Mr. Bowers. Sorry.
That's all right.
So motion by Mrs. Bach, a second by Mr. Bowers to approve our school committee goals for 2008, 2009. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, next, October Town meeting preparation, which is coming up on October 6th. David, you want to take this?
Well, you have in your packet some information that Mr. Messeri presented at the last finance planning meeting, giving kind of an overview of the amount of money that would be available for any kind of capital projects. Not very much. So the school committee has approved or recommended 3 capital projects. One, technology, the technology lease for $60,000. Secondly, asbestos abatement project at the middle school for $60,000. And then safety and security to finish the project at the Hood School and the Little School, and to do some other work that was not done at the Batchelder School for $150,000. And the town administrator, under the capital budget plan, has given the security a #1 priority rating, and I believe it will at least receive recommendation. We'll see what happens with the voters, but it is being recommended for funding. And the asbestos abatement, I think there's general agreement that it is absolutely needed to finish some work at the little school that was not completed when the building was renovated now about 11 years ago, and 10 or 11 years ago. And this is in the B wing, but because we can't have students in those classrooms, the only time that would be possible would be during a vacation period, so it would be deferred until April.
April town meeting.
Yeah, April town meeting.
Right.
So that's not going to be considered at the upcoming October town
Does
meeting.
that give you enough time to go out to bid?
She heard it differently. I think I'm looking at this.
I know the lease for the computers, I think they're going to put to April, because we don't have to pay payment till June.
October, but wanted